Well, hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. I'm Serious JG, and while I was loading my game, it logged onto the Ubisoft server, and remember, there was a nice long gap of a couple of years. I bought the Season's Pass. I tend to be a bit of a sucker. Once I've decided, particularly if I'm going to LP a game, much less play it, I'll buy whatever Season Pass gives you access to most of the DLC and extras. Multiplayer items are now unlocked, but like I've done that for the Neo games. I did that for, sometimes like Tales of Vesperia, the DLC were things like you could actually purchase in-game currency and levels. I didn't do that. You got the Dead or Alive games, which are insane. I did that as a Christmas special. I have not spent a lot of time playing Dead or Alive 4, but you could spend, I think somebody tallied it up, I think I saw a thread on like a game forum, like you could spend thousands of dollars on buying all the costumes in that game, because it's basically a money pit for, horny kids. But this game I bought that, and it was, it's Adewale's thing. It's been fun, and I think I got in-game stuff in the regular story, like, flat, like sails for the ship or whatever, which I didn't care about as much. But I've apparently also unlocked Black Island. Black Island is now available and indicated on your maps. Set sail and explore it to collect your rewards. Well, that feels pretty disrespectful towards Mystery Island. That feels pretty disrespectful towards Adewale. Sacrifice Island. Exclusive treasure chest is now available. Cat Island. Crooked Island. So I don't know if these are new, or if the game is confused and is telling me about stuff that I already got before. But it could all be new. But I've got 92% completion, but apparently I've not visited Black Island. I don't know that there's a point in visiting Black Island, even though I paid for the privilege, apparently. Because Freedom Cry, it's weird. I don't want to chit-chat for too long before we get going here, but this is the start of my second session of playing Freedom Cry. And Christmas has occurred since then. Christmas is for children. The thing about Christmas is that I got video games as I expected. And I even mentioned up front, hey, one of the reasons I'm doing the Assassin's Creed DLC is because it occurred to me that I never came back and did it. And it didn't seem like it would take that long, so it would fill in a gap until I had my Christmas gifts. Well, at this point, I have my Christmas gifts, and this game is now holding me up from playing other things. So even though, like, when I first opened it up and started playing Aveline's thing, running around, ninja jumping on people, I remembered, yeah, this game actually is kind of fun. But a little while in, and I was already getting kind of bored, and what I remember about Freedom Cry is it's like a small, self-contained Assassin's Creed thing. Not as much wandering, not as much time killing with travel. Same goofy jumping around like a monkey gameplay. Well, I don't mean monkey, and I didn't mean to say that about Adewale. I mean Captain Kenway and the various Middle Eastern heroes of prior games also jumped around like monkeys. That's not what I meant, but that is bringing me to, yeah. But the thing is, as I'm playing it, I'm like, wow, this is about slavery and really serious historical topics. And it's so easy to absentmindedly say something terrible, like having the guy who's out there trying to free other African slaves, who is himself a former African slave, and saying, jump around like a monkey. That's exactly the thing that I'm, like, worried about messing up playing this game. Maybe I'm being oversensitive. And I'm reminded that this game, of course, has a fairly unique, in my mind, the Ubisoft games in the Assassin's Creed series always open with this message that says this game is made by a multicultural team of various religious beliefs. And the first time I saw that on the original Assassin's Creed, I was like, wow, I mean, what are you guys about to talk about that you're all worried? And it really felt like, and in that game, it's apparent that game is set during the Crusades. There is literally a war going on between Muslims and Christians in the game. So you're like, okay, well, they don't want to get I mean, this company, hasn't Ubisoft in Europe? I mean, like, we've seen honor killings and stuff in Europe. We've seen, like, I'm blanking on his name, I feel bad, the French cartoonists get killed. Or no, the French magazine got bombed. A cartoonist from, I think it was the Netherlands, got killed. All that stuff is for reals, but the first time I saw it, like, I saw it now recently, and my thought is, oh, you just set a bunch of red hat guys who think that you're being politically correct by even saying that, so I don't see how they can win. Anyway, I'm off. What I meant to get into was the fact that Freedom Cry initializing downloadable content back. Okay, I don't want to start over completely. He discovers the identity of the mysterious Bastien Josephine, and this is one where I think I've cleared the game, and now we're just a little ways in, 10%. So that's less progress than I thought I'd made. But you could really use a little bit more ambient light on Adewale. He does not. Clearly he doesn't show up the same as Kenway in the same condition. But so this game is it's jumping around like a frenetic. What will I say instead of? I can say goof. You're jumping around like a goof, and it's kind of fun, but when you're supposed to be taking it really seriously, it's kind of difficult, and this game demands you take things pretty seriously because the subject matter is so heavy. One of the things I really enjoyed about playing this game off-screen years ago was 100%ing rescuing like the maximum number of prisoners. And I was really careful not to get any prisoners killed. I've already messed that up on screen and didn't want to go back and load. Because, as I've pointed out, the prisoners in this game are just numbers. You have dramatic cinematics that play about the nature of slavery and about Adewale's personal commitment to fighting it. But those cinematics play out exactly the same whether you rescue all optional slaves or no optional slaves. Like, that whole mechanic is just a numbers game where you can unlock really minor bonuses. So like here, like you can find this stuff respawns continuously, and I don't know that I feel the need to do all of them. Like, no matter how many prisoners we rescue, there will always be more to rescue, and in one sense, it's like, oh, that feels. I have to remember the controls again now. And in one sense, it's like, oh, that's really that really lends a reality to it, because it would be true if like one lone escaped slave was going around spending his life doing these missions, assassinating slavers in they wouldn't be able by themselves to actually accomplish this, and would be conducting a series of. See, now I want to loot them, and I can't remember how to do that. They would just basically be engaging in a series of murders and not really making any progress towards the broader social issue. Potentially, you could make that argument, but in this game, it's just like, no, literally, it's just like, if I rescue 1,000 more slaves, I will be able to carry 2 more rope darts. So, I'm having a hard time recreating the excitement I had for the. Because I was into like the whole, like you got an actual, you're going around doing this for a noble purpose. You're not just like doing it for money like in the last game. Okay, so I think I'm actually approaching from the wrong direction to do this properly. Okay, well, I didn't think I wasn't allowed to even come close to you, but apparently I can't even come close to you. Which makes this rather unfailable. Like, I got slaves killed by, while trying to rescue them from the plantation before, but in this case, 2 of the 3 guards came right after me, and the other one doesn't seem to have noticed, so... Yeah, this guy here doesn't seem to give a crap what happened. It's weird. Oh, now is this guy gonna, like, prove me wrong and go after the slaves? Or is there an infinite number of guys all of a sudden? This is not the way this had worked before. How many times do I have to hit you? Like I was stopping my combo just like 1 or 2 hits early all those times. Alright, now how do I rescue him? Press the liberate button.
You are very brave. Thank you for saving. You've endured enough.
Okay, well now they're making me feel bad because we do actually get a little bit of a guy talking to you and thanking you for helping him. Uh-oh.
We suspected this to be the cause of maroon activity.
Oh.
Anyone has any knowledge pertaining to this unfortunate event?
Or just robbed a guy who is also of African descent here. So that was kind of rude. It's kind of a pain in the butt to be... I mean, these people won't stop you, but you'd still think attention would be drawn to your murder activities. So I need to go deal with this guy. Which was shockingly easy. Then, what side do I have to be on to open this cage? So I just got done saying I'm not going to go around rescuing lots of slaves. I can't, like, you come across and you just feel like you should be doing it. Not my fingers? What? Please don't liberate my fingers. I'm not sure what was going on with the not my fingers comment, but and you would honestly, you would think that even if you're allowed to be in areas, if you're constantly going around climbing on the roof, that that eventually people would be like, hey, there's some dude with a cutlass and he's on the roof. Maybe he's one of those dangerous guys that we're being warned is murdered guards in town. Now, it doesn't matter how many guards you kill. There's always a guy. And I believe he's there before you've ever killed any guards. He's always there talking about how the Maroon 5 or whoever you are have, murdered guard. Okay, so I've located this gentleman. Guzan has... They're the finest women outside Paris, mark my words. They only have eyes for me.
Enjoy yourself, sir, and feel not you'll meet no competition for me. My heart is too weak.
Okay, so I'm supposed to just follow this guy without getting spotted. Haven't done one of these missions in a while. Sorry, I don't have time to help you right now because I'd love to help you, but I've got to oh man, there's like a ton of slaves looking to be rescued right now. And this guy's going to be a pain in the butt. I need to clear him. So this guy's on his way to a brothel, and I don't even remember why I'm looking for him. Somebody we rescued as part of the early plot stuff before I started going to plantations and getting people killed, told us to tail. They just said gentleman. Like, that's all they really said. I guess the leader of the resistance is running a brothel. So it doesn't really have to be this gentleman, according to that woman. It doesn't have to be this gentleman. We just had to find somebody who looks horny and follow them. Follow them to the Xbox Live store, where they will be downloading all the content, all of the optional costumes for Dead or Alive. Move between two civilians to blend in with them. You know, I don't know how much I am going to blend in with some of these folks. Ooh. Those are the people I actually need to listen to. So some of the... I can't tell from the lighting whether some of the patrons are supposed to be black. I think most of them are. Oh. Okay, so here's the challenge. I'm supposed to eavesdrop on a conversation between these guys. But apparently I'm not allowed in this zone. Eavesdrop interrupted.
Monsieur Gouverneur, if they felt safe at the plantation, do you think they would rebel?
Of course. Is there animal nature? Violence is the only currency that...
Hey, that guy just talking about their animal nature. That's not nice. Bastien Joseph, whatever. An intelligent, outwardly outgoing woman, Bastien Joseph had many acquaintances and few friends. Both free and raised by her mother, a prostitute at La Dame en Rose, Bastien Joseph made her first friends by selling glimpses of illicit acts to local children, but was shunned and labeled as morally corrupt as a young teenager. Well, I mean, if she was making her friends by selling illicit, glimpses of illicit acts, like, I can see how that would strike certain people that way. Choosing to avoid prostitution herself, Bastien learned to read, write, and manage financial affairs. In time, she became the brothel madam's indispensable right-hand woman. In this capacity, she bore witness to all the secret deal-making, political manipulation, and scandal among the brothel's patrons, and learned the true power of Madame La Dame en Rose. So it's interesting that they're trying to have it both ways here. They're making her, in charge of a brothel. It's like she's like smart and proactive and doing all these things while leading a brothel, but then they're like, well, but she's not actually a prostitute herself. And it's like, wait a second. Either it's okay that she's involved in prostitution, or it's not, game. Get your, don't go halfway on the morals here. I mean, whatever. Engaged once, she ultimately avoided the altar, realizing it would deprive her of the freedom she had carefully cultivated for herself. She instead inherited the brothel following her mentor's death, and took private pleasure in seeing the bullies and hypocrites of her childhood become her paying patrons once more. In the successful business the previous madam had built, Joseph saw potential for something more, doubling her business. She then used the brothel to undertake two types of action on behalf of Maroons and enslaved Africans in Port-au-Prince. I don't know what Maroons are. I should know what that is. I guess those are the free Africans? I'm not sure. I should know that. That's based on historical fact. That's not something they made up for the game. She used the proceeds to buy freedom of slaves and used the... I don't know if it's specifically the underground referring to Maroons or if that's just the term for freed blacks at the time. She used the proceed to buy the freedom of slaves and used the confidential veil of the brothel itself in tandem with her control over the women who worked there to solicit political favors from powerful clients, including Governor de Fayette and the scientist Louise Godin. In 1735, she met Adewale, which I guess is about to happen for the first time, and the two became uneasy partners in helping Augustin Dauphin and the Maroon cause. It does seem that a friendship developed between them, but it's unclear to what extent. Oh, so we're not supposed to know whether or not they're going to do it. Classes. Here we go. Maroons. Maroons are people from West Indies, Central America, and South America, and North America that escaped slavery and found, formed, and settled communities away from their oppressors. Although the African slaves were not the first to be treated so badly, the Taino tribes that first inhabited the Saint Dominique, were abused and bullied into submission by the Spanish. Refusing to work for them, the Taino people were the first to settle in the mountains and later made room for fugitive slaves. Most of the slaves of Saint Domingue, fled to the mountains to hide from their oppressors and start new lives, often on subsistence agriculture and survival hunting. Some became warriors and fought for independence. These warriors have many reasons to fight, but today they are warriors. Excuse me. Some became warriors, fought for independence and the freedom of the other slaves. Maroons were known to raise crops, attempt to scare off plantation owners and overseers, loot and conduct violent raids on nearby sugar and coffee plantations. Okay, so I can see how they would be something of a criminal class in that society. Criminal in the strictly legal sense, not moral. But although these bands of Maroon warriors grew in size, they more often than not lacked leadership to carry through large-scale objectives. Not surprisingly, the Code Noir still sided with masters. They were given a great deal of liberty in their retaliation methods. Plantation slaves were killed in an attempt to keep the Maroons at bay. Many of the attackers were slaughtered, and the death penalty was given out as a common form of punishment. Maroons in Saint Domingue were ultimately responsible for one of the few successful slave uprisings in history, and the only one to result in the founding of a free state, the Republic of Haiti, after a century of effort and more than one attempt. Yeah, Haiti's history is pretty interesting. It's not a country that you would particularly. It's not really a country where you'd go today if you wanted to settle down and feel safe and comfortable, because it's the place has got lots of problems. But yeah, which as a racist pointed that as proof that black people can't do anything right, that's bullshit too. But but it's a pretty violent, turbulent history, and things are not that fantastic there now. Part of it because they're in the path of all the big hurricanes. It's kind of tough to really get things going if every year your whole country gets torn down by nature. Note, Maroons are not to be confused with other black population in Santo Domingo at the time. Freedmen, slaves who were freed legally through emancipation or manumission, and gens de couleur, people of color, who were born free or freed at birth. Okay, and then overseers. I don't know if we need to read. Okay, there's not a whole lot to read there, but they're just basically wealthy white Europeans. They're basically assholes.
Like going, you really want to protect your African friends. Spread the word. Quiet them down. Otherwise,
You need not describe. I know what you do.
but could not preserve a butterfly.
Okay, I'm not sure what that's.
But the overseers have every right to discipline as they see fit.
Would not be necessary. I will deliver your message.
Oh, I'm supposed to be. I turn invisible when I'm hanging around with other people.
We will both profit by it.
Is there any other service you require? Gouverneur,
Oh, an old man like
Why do they translate gouverneur into governor? We can tell.
exhausted me already.
then show yourself out.
She doesn't care for that guy because he's a jerk. Basically, he just came to her and said, "Hey, I know that you like the." Did he just come to her and say, "I know you're a Maroon"? Because he basically came to her and said, "You got to get the Maroons to stop, or everyone's gonna or we're gonna come murder them." Which sort of implies he already. I mean, it's kind of like he must already know that she's involved with the Maroons, right? I mean, what the hell? I thought it was supposed to be secret that she has those connections.
Madame Joseph. Expecting a package.
But not you. Where's l'admiral?
They only translate words. They only use words that are already really close to English, and then they translate them anyway.
For me to meet the same fate. Look around. One threat, and these men will end you.
I bring no threat.
Unless this package is a threat, I really don't know.
How do the Templars allow you to carry on like this?
I am only the messenger. But before you judge, remember, the Templars coin like any will buy the freedom of men like you.
Wait, are Templar coins accepted around here?
I know this man.
You know nothing.
You have the brand of a slave, the eloquence of a scholar,
Uh-huh.
hands of a sailor,
You smell all salty.
and an assassin's hood. Few fancy.
I need no wappets. My hands are my wappets.
I think the storm stranded you. What do you need? A ship, shelter,
Illicit acts.
to be had for the price of this parcel.
I need nothing I can't win for myself.
They just translated can't being spoken with an accent.
What you promise is true. And perhaps something can be arranged.
Maybe I won't assassinate you.
Very well. You will do me a favor.
Pick up the dry cleaning and call the vet.
Saint Dufaur is a very secretive man. First find his plantation contact and give him this message from the gouverneur. Augustin will give you all the proof you need.
The governor.
Repeat this password. Sili Badodo Kabla va manger. Pas mal. A convincing baritone.
I know you're really a
Now I
mezzo
suggest
soprano.
you leave before my admirers get suspicious.
Okay, nice hat, by the way. Open a Paul driver tonight. Mission complete. We got 100% memory sync because I don't think there were optional ones to do here. Let's see if there were or not. Yeah, there weren't any optional things to do, which is why we got 100% sync. Okay. Perfect. Of course, I could rate this memory of this, like, 10-year-old game. But apparently, brand new DLC is still coming out for it. Black Island. I think I just got an announcement about old DLC that I already had, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, I don't know how much of this game is left, and I don't want to sound like I'm not enjoying it, because once I get into the story and stop yakking, I do have some fun. Even if I have to second, like I said, jump around like a monkey. Ooh, was that the thing to say? But I am having fun with this. I've got plenty of things I'm ready to play when it's done, and it does seem like it'll be the one that wraps up first of all the things I'm working on. So let's see. We'll come back next time. I think what it's going to come down to is I really just need to... I'm telling myself the individual folks that I could rescue are distracting me from launching a total maroon uprising and freeing everybody. So... for that reason, I'm going to not go around doing all these side activities, even though they seem like they would help. At least ease my troubled soul. I'm the Mysterious GG, and I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you'll come back next time for more of Freedom Cry. Black Island. Nope, it's not Black Island. It's just Freedom Cry. Black Island is something else, which I probably did years ago and don't remember.